Well, hello everyone, and how are we all doing? Sorry it's a little bit dark, but we've burned out some lights, and those are just too much, even if I turn them down. So let's make do with what we have. I hope everyone is having a good week. It's been a couple since I've seen you all, but today I want to do something really quick, really easy, something that keeps coming up in my feed that I wonder if it's going to work or not. So we are going to try a video from, of all people, Tasty. Yeah, we did their cola brownies once before, and that was just a soupy mess. So today we're going to try something else. Theoretically, it should work. We'll see. What we are going to do is make some cinnamon roll apple pies. Now, I'm not going to make a big one. I'm going to make some smaller ones. And it's a fairly simple recipe. You use store-made or store-bought cinnamon roll dough, some apples, some brown sugar, some butter, because what we're going to do is we're going to add a little caramel to it. And of course, someone has to message just as we start. So what we're going to do is just really quickly juggle some pans around here, as you see, hopefully on the other camera. All I've done is pull out a small sauce pot. I'm going to put that on a medium heat. We've got some brown sugar. Now these are just going to be like little cups. I'm just doing them in a muffin tin, so we don't need a ton, but I'm going with a third of a cup of dark brown sugar, so that's going to give us that nice, rich, dark caramel taste. Just a tablespoon of butter, and a couple of cracks of salt. That's it. That is just going to cook by itself, turning into a caramel. Like I say, you'll see that on the little video feed. They'll either be down there or I'll be down there and you'll be looking at the big screen. Figure that out later. So once the caramel is done, we're going to add some of our apples. Now I'm using a gorgeous Red Delicious because they were the nicest apples they had. If you like something a little tartar, use a Macintosh, use a Spartan, Lady Gala, your choice. Whatever you have available. That's the stove saying it's ready. So what I have done is just preheat the oven to 350, sorry. And just off camera here, we're just chopping up our apple, nice and small. Yeah, I'm leaving the skin on because I like it, and plus I'm too lazy to peel apples. Now I've got 4, but I don't think we're going to need them all. Probably able to get away with 2. Because what we're going to do is once our caramel is made, we're going to add the apples to that. Just so, first of all, they soak up some of that flavor, but also they're going to cook a little bit in it. And it'll just make everything cook that much faster. Now, if you want to cut your apples and everything before, you can. It's not a problem. Just put a little bit of lemon juice on them, just so they don't brown up. It doesn't matter if they do, considering we're cooking these anyway. But if you want nice pieces of white apple, go for it. It's all going to taste the same anyway. We're just going to get out a spatula here. Don't forget, this is going to be caramel, so it's going to be hot. So you don't want to touch it. I'm going to be really careful with it. But you can already see it's starting to melt down. It's already smelling really good. We're just going to let that go for a little bit more. If you're really, really worried about burning, you can add a little bit of water to it. It takes a bit longer, but you can do it. For a third of a cup, I would only add maybe a tablespoon of water. You can see in that other camera that's getting nice and melty. The juice from the apples is actually going to take the place of the water in this case. Now, what I want to do, and here's where I need more space, unfortunately. I'm out of space. There you go. Just check our brown sugar there. So here I have a muffin tin that I've already sprayed with a little bit of cooking spray because I don't want this to all stick. But what I am going to do is take my cinnamon roll, just cut it in half, because I honestly thought there were more than 5 cinnamon rolls in the thing, but they are big ones. So just sort of rolled it into a ball. It's going to go into our muffin tin, and we are going to squish it. Make sure it gets in the corners, up the sides. All that caramel's starting to look good. So you can see what I've done there. I've just taken our little bit of dough and sort of squished it to make a cup. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to try this one with... Never fails. I keep forgetting to mute my phone. I'm going to try this one without putting it into a ball. That works too. The smell of that caramel is intoxicating. Now, if you don't have brown sugar, you can use white sugar. You can use light brown sugar. You can use half and half. Okay, what I am going to do now, as you're going to see on the other camera, is our apples are going to go in. And be careful. You don't want to splash yourself. I don't want to get any comments. They tasted great, but I couldn't eat them when I got back from the hospital. And we're just going to let that cook in there. Let some of those juices come out. And while that's doing its thing, we're going to jump ahead a bit, and I'm going to have all these cups done. So we'll see you all in a few minutes. So as we can see in the pot now, we're getting some of the juices from those apples coming out. They're starting to cook a little bit now. Caramel is really setting up nicely. So we're going to let it do its thing. I was just thinking as I'm playing with my dough that I'm going to try if it'll work. Don't know. I just thought my measuring cup fits perfectly in the baking cups, muffin cups. So I'm going to try using that to push down and so it comes up the sides instead of using my fingers, because being a store-bought dough, of course there's a lot of fat and oils and stuff in here, so it's kind of slippery to do. So let's see. I'm just using a 1/4 cup. And that's working really nicely. I'll show you in a sec. Maybe spray this with a bit of oil. But it's definitely making it push down into a cup a lot easier. Like I say, it's just spray it first maybe so that it doesn't stick to this like it is for me. Now, in the tasty video, I will say they make this look so much easier. They just push it down and it instantly fits. You're gonna have to take a couple of minutes and work it out. Tasty is known for doing camera tricks and not showing you everything. Well, this is real cooking. And while in theory this is all going to work out, it's not as easy as they say. Our apples, though, look gorgeous. They're starting to soak up that caramel. And they're starting to soften up a bit. Now you can do these as a side with breakfast. You could do these as a nice little dessert. Keep them warm and then just top it with a little ice cream or whipped cream. Yeah, tasty wasn't as straightforward as they thought, as they showed when it came to pushing those into the tins. It was kind of hard. Using the pre-made dough, I think, made it harder as well, because it just wanted to come apart. It didn't want to stick together. So just be prepared that you're going to have to work it a little bit. Our apple mix here is really coming along. Like I say, it smells great. Normally, if I was doing caramel apples like this, I would add a little bit of cinnamon to this, but I know there's a ton of cinnamon already on those rolls. I'm not going to bother adding more. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Our apples are nice and soft. Our caramel sauce has soaked into them, so you can see the color. I'm trying to get this without spilling caramel on my stove. I could just show it to this camera. So you can see, like I say, the caramel is thinner because it has the apple juices in it now, but the apples are softer. Everything looks nice. We're going to turn the heat off that. Now we're going to use our couple of spoons, and you're going to very carefully, because don't forget, that caramel is still roasting hot. You will burn yourself really bad if you're not careful. And it's going to go down into our cups. I probably could have got away with using one apple, but oh well. So we're just putting some of the apple right on top. I'm sort of giving it a push into the dough. I'm not really getting any of the caramel in at this point. And I do have a normie at my feet. So I am trying to be very careful now. Because the last thing I want is a caramel coated dog. So that's going to come off totally off the heat. We have our filled tarts. I'll show it to this camera. So as you can see, I haven't overloaded them, but I want to make sure there was some apple in them. And this is going to go into 350 oven. If you have a convection oven, put it to 325, and they are going to cook between 20 and 25 minutes. So until that time, we're going to clean this up, we're going to get ready, and like I said, I have a normie down here. There we go, see? We got a normie. Say hi to everyone. Hi. So we didn't want this little guy covered in caramel. So we are going to clean this up, like I said. We're going to get everything done. We're going to play with the dog while this is all cooking. And then we will see you when it's all ready. Till then, bye. Bye. Hello, everyone, and we are back. Sorry, a little wet there. Was doing dishes, splashed myself. Always making a mess. Part of the fun of being in the kitchen. So I've pulled them out of the oven. They took 25 minutes. Let them cool for about 10 minutes. And there we go. They look so good. The crust has a little crispness to it. Still, the caramel and everything is there. If you want, give these a dusting with some icing sugar. Or, of course, when you buy the cinnamon dough, well, you get the little icing with it. So we're just going to pour a bit on there. Yum. Now let's take a bite. Was it worth the time, the effort? Well, the time was nothing. The effort, a little hard. Just getting the dough to fit into the cups properly. And make sure you really oil those pans, because it was kind of hard getting these out. But now that these have cooled, really nice. That caramel, wow. Cinnamon works really well with it. The icing, of course, nice and sweet. The apples are soft, but they actually have still a little texture. Icing's dripping all over me. Oh my God. Really, really good. If you want a softer crust, this does have a little crunch to it, which is fine because it's a pie. Just cook it for maybe like 5 minutes less. And just make sure your dough's cooked all the way through. But I have to finish this because I can't put it down. The apples, nice, sweet, still a bit of crunch to it, but soft. I would recommend maybe knife and fork. Again, dog at my foot. So, really, really tasty. Really, really yummy. Did tasty food lie doing this video? In a way. They made it look really, really easy getting the dough to form to everything. They did other things in their video, like, of course, jump cuts and all that kind of stuff, that just made the video seem, it didn't come out the same. That's what I can say. Basically, they put a bottom layer on, they put their apples in, and when it baked, it enveloped the apples. That didn't happen. Is it still worth making? Yes. Experiment with it, try it, enjoy. Really tasty. Great as a side with breakfast or as a really nice dessert. So until next time, I hope you all have a great weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this. And we will see you all next time. Have a great day. Bye.